WTOL TV, Toledo. Straight from the newsroom, this is Toledo 11 News.
Just another day on the job for a YMCA worker.
Until she came across this.
Were set up and students were painting welcome signs.
It wasn't quite the thrill of the open road, more like the parking lot of Perrysburg Commons.
It will make its debut.
Just about the only event making news today.
2,000 carryout orders were handled.
Welcome into the WTOL 11 Vault. We are honoring the spirit of Memorial Day as seen through the lens of our newsroom over the past 2 decades. From parades and solemn services to family cookouts and powerful tributes, we're looking back at how our community has remembered and reflected. The Vault is open this week from 1982 through 2002, and these stories show how our traditions have evolved, but one thing has never changed: the deep respect for those who gave their lives in service to our country. We step off this edition of the WTOL 11 Vault. In 1982, it's May 31st, and though the bands are playing, the parade is marching, Dick Berry made sure no one forgot the meaning of Memorial Day.
Scenes like this could be found in every city across the country today. Marching bands strutting down a hot pavement, flags waving in the breeze, children lining the street for a bird's-eye view of the goings-on.
Most people came downtown today to see a colorful parade, and they got one, although hadn't forgotten the true meaning of Memorial Day.
What does Memorial Day mean to you?
Men who fought for our country, a symbol of strength of the United States.
I had a brother in the service, and we lost him, and that means a lot to us.
Do you think people have forgotten the true meaning?
Sure, really. You don't even see them stand up when the American flag salute or anything.
Does that bother you being a veteran?
Sure it does.
What do you think the solution is?
I don't know, really.
Do you think people have forgotten its true meaning?
I imagine it's like the true meaning of most all holidays are forgotten, yeah.
Dick Berry, Toledo 11 News.
While Memorial Day often includes time with families, cookouts, and pools, it's really about the men and women who gave their lives serving our country. And on May 28, 1984, Elizabeth McGuire found families braving the weather to get together. First, Cindy Hilger takes us to Sylvania, where one of the area's tree cities looked a little more like the nation's capital.
These brave men have served their country in a manner beyond our experience.
Washington, D.C. came to Sylvania today for the dedication of a statue honoring this area's war dead. Brigadier General Elmer Brooks of the U.S. Air Force spoke, representing President Reagan.
We owe them our lasting gratitude for a heritage of freedom.
The statue stands tall in Sylvania's Memorial Park. It joins the 50 trees planted there for veterans of World War II and the Korean War.
And there will be a capsule at the base of the monument, which will contain the names of all that we are able to find who lost their lives in war throughout the wars.
Military men and women and veterans from around the area gathered for the dedication. Joining them were several hundred people who just wanted to pay their respects to those who fought and died for their country.
The fact that so many guys died over there in Vietnam, and I think it's really touching that this many people came out on a day like this.
A lot of people made a lot of sacrifices to allow us in this country just to come out here and stand out here in the cold or the rain or whatever it happens to be, and I think it's a chance to say thank you to a lot of people that made some sacrifices for us.
And it's the only thank you of its kind in this area in the past 20 years.
It wasn't a day for swimming. This pond was ready for company, but there were no takers. On the baseball diamond, a high fly would have gone unnoticed. And on the tennis court, not much action here either. The sun was nowhere in sight. The wind blew, and the temperature, well, it was the kind of day to put your plans for a holiday picnic on hold. Or was it? June Garrison decided the lousy weather shouldn't get in the way of her family get-together.
We love it outdoors. That's mostly it. And we didn't want to all be in one house together, so we decided to come out anyway, cold or no cold.
The weather didn't stop Mike Harrion from holding a going-away party for a neighbor, but he did have second thoughts.
Yesterday would have been a better day. Chose the wrong day.
Now you might be thinking, these people are crazy.
They're right. We are crazy, I'm sure, but we're having fun.
Memorial Day is typically a day to reflect, but on May 27th, 1985, it was a day for a show. Evan Rosen takes us out on the water for a special performance that was making waves.
Boarding the boat, they look like tourists, don't they? But once they suit up, they're the cast of the 1920s musical Showboat.
The snake is allowed, and he wouldn't hurt a fly.
Normally the show's at the Westgate Dinner Theater. Today the stage is the Arowana Princess and the audience is downtown Toledo. David Chevalier has a small part in Showboat. He says the musical isn't just any old show.
The music's gorgeous, make-believe, Old Man River, Can't Believe That Man. The songs are just standards. There's no way someone could not enjoy doing the show itself. The costumes are gorgeous. It's just one of those nice period shows.
The cast says this is the first time in Toledo, at least, Showboat has actually been performed on a showboat. Evan Rosen, Toledo 11 News, on board the Arowana Princess.
Our march through time continues to May 26, 1986. The Memorial Day meeting continues to be on display, and the salute to the service members who made the ultimate sacrifice continues. Stuart Watson takes us to Stickney and LaGrange, where the AmVets parade stepped off in an emotional tribute.
God and country, the patriotic, the religious. Stanley Andrzejak watches the ceremony for those who went to the front and didn't come back. For Stanley, Memorial Day brings a look back across the Atlantic to native Poland.
Europe, to native state that is day and night, different sky. Now is in my old country is very bad.
About 700 veterans and the families of veterans gathered under the trees at Mount Carmel Cemetery. Bishop James Hoffman told the assembly to work against violence in any form.
We would be well guided by that statement of Paul VI and seek to live by it. If you wish peace, defend life.
Memorial Park, a peaceful end for those who fought. 7,000 American flags wave in the morning breeze. Roger Fritz cleans around his father's headstone and remembers.
People got a lot of heart because I never seem to forget people like this. There's so many people just go on by and act like these people don't even exist. And then when they come out and show these flags and the parade and everything, it kind of makes it all. I just told my wife, I said, I wish she could raise up and look around and see all the attention.
The children only remember a time of peace. For their elders, remembering can be painful.
It was sort of rough. It was rough. That's why I don't talk about it too much. Rough, hot stuff.
The ceremony and the memories can also serve to console. Stuart Watson, Toledo 11 News.
Moving on to May 25th, 1987, again Memorial Day. Dick Berry highlighting local Civil War veterans. And this year, Toledo 11 News headed out to Ridgeville Corners. The small town had only a population of 425 people. That didn't slow them down. Elizabeth McGuire has a story.
In the small community of Ridgeville Corners, this is tradition. the war veterans, the high school band, just about everyone in the town of 350 taking part in a Memorial Day march to the cemetery, honoring the friends, neighbors, and relatives they lost in war.
Aim, fire!
Memories of all the friends.
Because everyone knew each other and knows each other, and the markers here in the cemetery, we can all relate to them in some way or another.
I know when my husband first came to Ridgeville Corners, he wanted to go away on a Memorial Day, and I said, well, no, it's Memorial Day.
Through World War I and II, the Korean War and Vietnam, many of these folks have spent other Memorial Days here. This is a community where God and country aren't taken for granted.
The heritage of faith in God, love for their country, it's just a very part of their life.
The rural village has sacrificed its share of young men. A soldier still missing in action in Vietnam. A boy killed in World War II. The contribution Paul Schrader made to his country in World War II may not be greater than any other person killed in action. But in a place like Ridgeville Corners, the death of one person hits home for an entire community.
When death hits a family, it hits all the families in the area because they're all part of one family.
And on Memorial Day, the folks who live in Ridgeville Corners remember their family. Elizabeth McGuire, Toledo 11 News in Ridgeville Corners.
Unlike other areas in Ottawa County, Johnson's Island on Lake Erie is not known as a tourist getaway. Flags posted above 206 headstones remind us of a time our country might just as soon forget.
There's a private, too. Yeah.
During the Civil War, the island was a prisoner of war camp for Confederate soldiers. The graveyard is the final resting spot for imprisoned Southerners who died from disease, wounds, and execution.
Now, the latest issue of Blue and Gray magazine has a big article on Johnson's Island prison. In it, one prisoner is quoted as saying that after spending a winter here, he was convinced that hell has torments of cold. Others compared it to St. Helena and the Black Hole of Calcutta.
The location was chosen once the North realized eastern forts couldn't handle the overflow of Confederate prisoners during a long war. Originally, the prison was supposed to go up on another Lake Erie island.
But they decided against Put-in Bay, Kelly's, and Middle Bass because those were all vineyards and had wineries on them. So they were afraid that the people guarding the prisoners would spend too much time at the wineries and get drunk and maybe let the prisoners escape.
In 1910, the Daughters of the Confederacy had the cemetery restored and a monument erected.
It was originally supposed to face south, but it is facing north because that was the closest point of freedom for the Confederate officers or Confederate prisoners here.
To Canada?
Yes, to Canada.
Thousands died during the Civil War. The cemetery at Johnson's Island shows us not all the deaths occurred on the battlefield.
That was Dick Berry reporting. This patriotic edition of the WTOL 11 Vault takes a turn toward Waterville as we head to the 90s. May 28, 1990, Evan Rosen is taking in the Memorial Day Parade along the mighty Maumee.
Left, your left, your left, 2, 3, 4.
The drum rolls are bringing out the Patriots. Outside shops and along the streets they watch as the town fathers, the town mothers honor the dead. This is Waterville, population 5,000, where tradition still counts. It counts a lot.
We all need to remember those who have died and serve, to keep our country what it is.
We ask that you remind us of those people who gave their lives for this freedom.
Fire! What makes Memorial Day different, special, more important somehow in a town the size of Waterville is that everybody knows everybody else around here, and everybody knows everybody who has given their lives while fighting for America. Carolyn Herringshaw knows the dead, the heroes of Waterville who left for battle and never returned. She's here for them and for the living.
My husband was in World War II. Unfortunately, he came back. But we have friends and relatives who didn't come back, and all those memories are brought to light.
Oh, it draws tears. Let's be honest, you can't take it, especially with that place.
Music of the Patriots and American pride are never wasted in Waterville. Here, Memorial Day represents hope. Hope that America will protect this town because of the sacrifices Waterville's heroes have made.
That was Evan Rosen reporting. We turn the page almost into the late 90s now. May 29th, 1995. Jim Taylor showed us something unique, a Polish parade. But first, Dick Berry has the once-a-year display that was as rare as it was special.
Every Memorial Day, and only on Memorial Day, a 48-star flag hangs outside Dick Typer's West Toledo home. It's tattered, windblown, and faded.
It means nothing as a flag, but sure means a lot to me.
That's because during World War II, it flew on a destroyer, the USS Boyd. On board, Dick was a handsome 24-year-old radar officer. The Boyd and its crew saw much combat, taking part in 9 major engagements, including the landing at Iwo Jima. A Japanese gunner on the island is responsible for the holes in the flag.
We made our way at flank speed, zigzagging, trying to get out of his range. But we had several near misses, straddled us several times, and I think that's where those shrapnel or shell holes came from.
And that flag is Dick Typer's way of reminding us all that war is hell. He hopes there's never another conflict like the one he survived.
Well, it brings back a lot of memories and great associations, and like thousands of other guys just doing our job in the war.
And Dick Typer feels it's his job every Memorial Day to make sure we never forget those thousands by proudly raising his flag.
I'm very proud to be here because I did survive, and I'm one of the survivors.
For Korean War veteran Bob Dard, the memories came rushing back today. For all these men, whatever their duty, whatever their war, almost all these soldiers knew someone who didn't make it back. It is for them they marched for the 49th year with their heads held high.
Well, I think a lot of my buddies that have passed away, that have given their life. That's one reason I'm marching today in remembrance of some of the guys that are not here.
For this parade, the red and white Polish flag flew alongside the American one. And beneath those flags, Polish Army veterans marched alongside their American counterparts from World War II.
We celebrate, that just to think, and give the credit to all of those that are dead. It's especially Poland, where actually the whole country was in the underground army fighting.
Watching from the sidelines, 13-year-old Jack Reed III didn't quite understand all the fuss. What does it mean?
I get a day off of school.
His grandfather hopes he'll understand someday.
I'd like to hear them say because of their country. I'll be proud of it. I am.
The parade ended here at Mount Carmel Cemetery. With a traditional gun salute and taps, friends and family again paid their respects. When you think of their sacrifices, one speaker told the crowd, think what the world might have been like without them. Jim Taylor, Toledo 11, the News Channel.
Beautifully done, Jim. Nearing the turn of the century, 1999, May 29th, another Memorial Day and another parade in downtown Toledo. Toledo 11's Carly Walker takes us there.
Nice to have you with us.
The American spirit filled downtown Toledo. All were there for one reason.
To commemorate all these ones that have fallen. That's what it's about.
Nice to have you with us, Chapter 1981.
And to honor the soldiers who are not with their families over the holiday weekend, but rather involved in a turbulent situation in Kosovo.
Every war is the same. It's just different players. World War II, Korea, the desert, Vietnam, and Kosovo now. And what we have to do is just make sure that everybody knows how wonderful freedom is.
Izzy Ortiz is a Marine and served in Vietnam. His family is here to honor him and others who served in past wars. Izzy's sister remembers when her older brother was gone fighting a war.
I was the youngest out of 8, so I was very close to Izzy, so I missed him a lot.
He's a fun guy. He's a fun guy. He's very interesting to talk to.
And as war heroes march by in this year's Memorial Day parade, Izzy knows what they are feeling.
Walk with pride and just let people know that I'm here. I'm one of the lucky ones that came back.
Carly Walker, Toledo 11, the News Channel.
Our final stop on the WTOL 11 vault is 2002, Memorial Day, May 25th. And though the parades continue 8 months after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, people are very nervous and the turnout is low. Jody Zink takes us there.
Despite the sirens and waving flags, the crowd at this year's Veterans Parade was sparse.
It's not as many people as I thought would be here. It's less than I thought, because I thought it was going to be pretty hard to get down here.
Lee is a veteran himself, along with his mother-in-law. They're teaching her grandsons about being a patriotic American, something some young people may not fully understand.
I think a lot of us just want to sit back and let the world happen. They don't want to go out there and do anything about it.
Since the world changed last September, many supporters say there never was a better time to stand behind the country.
Yes, I think everybody should stand behind the people that are fighting for us, you know, especially the ones that are over there right now. People got to remember they're there for us, you know, so everybody should be here.
So why aren't they?
Well, because, you know, our country is so spoiled that we don't know what it's like over there.
But they don't understand. We're asking them to understand something they don't know.
If only life could be a parade filled with marching bands and candy. The world is more complicated than that.
I'm glad the ones that came are here to support them. My husband's a Vietnam veteran.
From the flags placed with care to the stories of sacrifice passed down through generations, these moments from Memorial Day's past remind us what this day truly means. As we honor those who served and sacrificed, we also remember the families and communities forever shaped by their courage. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of the WTOL 11 Vault.